Welcome to the channel. In this video I'll be going through plugging in the front ports on the PC case into the motherboard. For many PC builders this might be quite obvious, but there are always new PC builders starting the hobby, and I hope this video will be helpful to them. The motherboard I'll be using to demonstrate this is this Intel B660 board released for 12th gen Intel, so it's neither new nor old, so it's relevant to a wide variety of builds. The main case I will be using for this video is the Thermaltake Core P3 TG Pro, because it has a good selection of the ports that would need to be plugged into the motherboard. So here's the front I/O, or the front panel of the Thermaltake case with all its ports. We'll start with the USB 3 Type A port and the USB Type C port. You'll notice for the USB 3 Type A port that there is an empty space instead of a pin. This makes the key for plugging in the cable. And on the cable end you can see the blocked off hole in the corner. This will match with the empty space on the port. For the Type C port, even though the port on the case is symmetrical, the motherboard header isn't. You can see the cable almost looks the same on both sides, but you can see as I'm wiggling it here, it doesn't go in both ways. If you feel like you're using too much force to insert the cables, you probably are, so you should check the orientation of the cable. Moving on to the HD audio port, you'll often find the port near the lower left corner of the board, and again you'll notice an empty pin space that lines up with the cable. This cable will support both a separate mic and headphone port, and a combined port. And here is a front panel from a different case showing the combined port with the same cable. Moving on to the front panel connectors, or the F panel. These can be the trickiest ones to do. If you notice that your case doesn't have a reset button or LEDs on the front ports, you don't need to worry about following this exactly. You'll just have less cables to plug in, so it'll be easier. And the F panel is commonly labelled JFP1 or just F panel, and you'll usually find it on the lower right of the board. There is a chance that with newer cases you'll find a unified connector like this for the front panel. So it's just like the other ports where you line up the cable with the key on the header. I've done up a simple diagram to show where everything connects, and I'll just be demonstrating plugging in all the connectors individually. You'll see the greyed out section on the right. One part of this is simply the empty space on the header, and the other is a 5V ground which isn't really used anymore, so we'll ignore that. So we'll start with the power switch. This is the one that every case is going to need. And this plugs in on the top row and the 3rd and 4th pins from the left. And we'll move on to the reset switch, which your case may or may not have. And this plugs in just below the power switch, so it's the 3rd and 4th pins from the left on the bottom row. We'll move on to the power LEDs. You may have noticed a light integrated into the power switch of your case, and this is what these are for. These can often be separated, so it's a little bit more finicky. So I pinch them together with one hand and try to slide them on that way. They go on the top row in the 1st and 2nd pins on the left. And finally we'll do the HDD LEDs, which is the light just to show the activity of your hard drive. And these plug in below where the power LED would go, so just on the bottom row, the 1st and 2nd pins from the left. That's it for the main connections, but just as a possible extra concern, what if the motherboard doesn't have the right amount of USB headers? By that I mean, what if your case has a lot of USB 3 Type A ports and comes with an extra internal cable, but your motherboard doesn't have an extra port? Or you have a USB Type C port on your case, but you don't have the header on your motherboard. One simple solution is a PCIe adapter card which plugs into the PCIe slot on the motherboard and provides you with the internal headers you would need. This card I have here provides external ports as well as an internal USB 3 Type A header, but you can also get these with Type C internal headers as well. You can see it simply slots into a PCI slot. You don't have to put it into the smallest PCI slot, it will function just fine in whatever PCI slot you have that's spare. That's it for the video. If you know someone who could benefit from this video, perhaps you could consider sharing it with them. Thanks very much for watching.